Big corporations want to make sure that they are getting the best value out of their money when they're buying something. And in order to do so, they have established a process known as the procurement cycle. The procurement cycle has 13 stages. So instead of going through this, I'm going to share you my simplified version of this. And based on that, my tips that you can use next time you're buying something, be it a pencil or a service or a high value purchase such as a car or a house. My name is Gustav Kish, and in my day job I work as a procurement commodity manager, meaning that I negotiate prices, terms and conditions with my suppliers. The first step to buying anything is to define what you need and define it very well. It is a good idea to start from the mission or the problem that you're trying to solve and come up with a list of features that serves that. So if you're buying a car, for example, those features could be the number of people that you want to carry, the amount of load that you would like to carry, the range, the color, the brand, any off-road capabilities, and any other items or features that you can think of. Then you want to separate those features into two lists, one for the nice-to-have features and one for the must-haves. The must-haves are features that you need to have in every offer that you would like to consider. The nice-to-haves, on the other hand, are not necessary to have, but they will be a benefit in the comparison. And those will be very important later when you are comparing offers to each other. Then the next step is to understand the market that you're working on. Is it even possible to buy what you're looking for? What are the players in the market? Is that mom and pop shops or medium-sized companies? Is it local, regional, or even international? What drives the price? Is it big brands, or is it volume? Is it the quality? And then come up with a list of shortlisted suppliers that you are going to then approach. Step number 3 is to gather the offers, either by approaching the shortlisted suppliers for a quotation, or if the prices are publicly available, then you can just gather them yourself and then make a comparison. It is a good idea to look at comparative benefits, so comparing the price and especially the price difference with the features difference. So let's say we have two cars, one for 30,000, one for 31,000, but the more expensive one comes with an espresso machine. That could be useful. So that means you have essentially bought yourself an espresso machine for $1,000. Does it make sense to buy an espresso machine for $1,000? If yes, then maybe the higher offer makes sense. If not, then you go for the lower one. It is also a very good idea to consider the TCO, the total cost of ownership. That way you are not only taking into consideration the acquisition cost, but as well you're taking into consideration the resale value. And between the acquisition and the resale value, you're going to suffer some depreciation, as well as during the lifetime of the product, you need to face costs to operate. And it is easily possible that one offer would have a lower acquisition value, but a higher cost to operate or maintenance cost, especially for cars. The cheaper cars might be more expensive to run on the long run. Step number 4 is to negotiate the terms if you can. Of course, in retail conditions, it is often not possible, but especially in case of high value purchases like cars and real estate, it is easily possible. Often the initial price is just a expectation or just a tool to start the negotiations. There's a technique known as anchoring in negotiations. That means throwing in a number at the start so that this number will be the first that is heard, and that then gets anchored into people's minds, and the later offers will be heard in comparison with the original numbers. And you would think that those offers are reasonable, while in reality they could still be very high, just lower than the original price. There's two things that you can use as leverage when you are negotiating the price. One is the leverage of volume. You can find people that are buying the same thing as you, and you can form what is known as a tender community, and you can agree to buy the same thing from the same vendor, and you can negotiate together. That way the vendor will be able to give a cost reduction, or you can demand a cost reduction, because the vendor is essentially interested in profits. So they are not interested primarily in the price level or the price point, but they're interested in profits. So if you're bringing in 5 times the volume, they can reduce the price a bit, because that way they are still turning a bigger profit with the additional volume, than if they sold you just one of the product for the original price. The other leverage to use is competitor price or competitive pricing. That means going into a vendor with the information that the same product or a very similar product is available for a lower price. You could say that you are interested in buying from them, but in order to do so, they need to reduce their price to match the competitor. Again, they are interested in making a profit, so a sale for a lower price, or if it still some profits, is better than no sale at all. So they would be inclined to do that. This is also known as, in negotiation terms, as using a BATNA. A BATNA is a best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So in other words, what will I do if we cannot come to an agreement? And if your BATNA is strong, then you can just put it on the table and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do if we don't come to an agreement. If you're happy with the price, then it is a good idea to go ahead and make the purchase. And after you have used the product until the end of its life cycle or a couple of years, then it is a good idea to make a simple rebuy next time you have a demand for a similar product or service. It is useful because if you're doing a rebuy, then you are saving yourself the time and effort that it takes to run all the things that we have just mentioned. So if you like this video, please consider giving it a like. It helps us a lot. And if you like this video, then there's a good chance you will like our other videos, which we will put links up here and here. So check those out. And I thank you for joining, and I see you in the next one.